Hey guys, oh my god, we have to talk about the MAGA split on the right because I think this divide is only going to grow further and further. On the one side, we have individuals like Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massey, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens. And then on the other side, we have individuals like Laura Loomer and Mark Levine, who are staunch neocons advocating for war with Iran. Mark Levine, especially, not only is he a staunch Zionist, he's also a staunch Jewish supremacist. Some of his tweets are incredibly radical. A white guy responded to Mark Levine saying, "Your actions are only going to increase anti Semitism." Levine responds back and says, "Well, anti Semitism is in your bloodline." If the same guy's advocating for eradicating anti Semitism, and with that same token, he's saying, well, anti Semitism is in white people's bloodline, it seems like he's hinting at something really really dark. But we can't talk about that, right? We can't talk about that because you can have it go one way, but and you can say whatever you want about white people, but for some reason when it comes to Jewish people, you can't do that. So hinting at that and it's completely fine. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. But separately, apparently now they're being branded as woke right. They, as in Tucker, Candace, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massey, etc. They're being branded as woke right because they're against foreign wars. They're being branded as woke right because if you look at those individuals, they're the only people that are not bought out by a foreign lobby. I think personally, if you're bought out by APAC or if you're bought out by the Israel lobby, then you really shouldn't be talking about America first. You really shouldn't. You should really just step aside. Step aside. Okay, you're talking about putting America first, yet at the same time, a foreign nation bought you out. You're a mouthpiece for Israel, and you want to be talking about America first. If you really think about it, and you really put America first when it comes to America's foreign policy decisions in the Middle East, what would that look like? Genuinely, what would that look like? The last president who really had it right and who really had the autonomy to do it right was John F. Kennedy. He advocated for bringing the Palestinians displaced during the Nakba in 1947 to return back. He tried to stop Israel from developing nuclear weapons. He did that partly also because he didn't want nuclear proliferation, but also, by the way, he did that because he didn't want the other Arab states to also begin looking for their own nuclear weapons and start an arms race in the Middle East. He also didn't want the Arab states to become closer to the Soviets at the time because he knew at the time that America had really good relations with the Arab countries. Now things are completely different. So we have these people on the right, and now they're being branded as woke because they're not bought out by a foreign lobby and because they're standing up against Israel's influence in the United States. If you look at some of the tweets that these individuals are saying, especially, Mark Levine, I just have to share some of his tweets because I don't think I've seen somebody who's such a hateful person that advocates for wars so badly. It's wild just how badly he just wants America to go to war. I've never seen anything like this, honestly. So here's something he posted about Marjorie Taylor Greene just a few days ago. Marjorie Taylor Greene, shameless nitwit. How incredibly dumb is this Marjorie Taylor Greene? She doesn't know anyone in America who has been a victim of crime or killed by Iran. You mean the thousands of Americans, especially military personnel, killed and maimed by the Iran terrorist regime? This is simply because, of course, Marjorie Taylor Greene was against the bombing of Iran. I've watched our country go to war in foreign lands for foreign causes, aka Israel, on behalf of foreign interests for as long as I can remember. I was in the 10th grade when Desert Storm started, and my father my father before me was sent to Vietnam, another senseless foreign war. Trillions of dollars in debt, $37 trillion in debt. How much of that came from foreign wars in the Middle East? $4 trillion added to the national debt because of fighting Israel's wars, basically. Apparently, Marjorie Taylor Greene saying this is now woke right. MAGA is not for foreign wars. We are not for regime change. We are for America first. The United States should not be involved in fighting nuclear-armed Israel's war with Iran. You see that? Nuclear-armed Israel. There is a if you're an American politician, you're not supposed to say out loud that Israel has nuclear weapons. Everybody knows Israel has nuclear weapons, but you should not be saying it as an American politician, which is why this got so many views, by the way, because it shocked people. That's not something you say, but apparently calling this out makes you woke, right? So I guess being a real America firster in the eyes of Laura Loomer and Mark Levine is advocating for foreign wars, adding trillions more to the debt, letting inflation skyrocket, being a neocon. Apparently, that's what a real America firster looks like. Isolating ourselves diplomatically as we allow Israel to commit an onslaught in Gaza. This MAGA split on the right is only going to continue, especially if you look at the age demographic breakdown. Republicans under the age of 35, majority of Republicans now have a negative perception of Israel under the age of 35. That's not going to quickly change US policy. Typically, the masses have to change their mindset collectively before that becomes a change in US policy, but that shift's going to happen. And when it does, Israel is not going to have the same US backing that it does now. And this divide is only going to grow further because people are waking up and recognizing that Zionism, that Israel, all that it's brought to America is trillions of dollars of debt, alienating ourselves from the Arab world, exporting violence to America, leading to a refugee crisis in the Middle East that Europe has to absorb, that Europe has absorbed. That's all that Zionism's brought to the Western world. But people love to support Israel, especially your evangelical Christians here in America. They love cucking to Israel because they believe that God told them they have to. Because the Schofield Bible that's been funded by Zionists pushing dispensationalism, telling them they have to support a foreign country created in 1947. That's my thoughts for today, guys. Click the subscribe button below if you want to see more of my videos, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.